Good afternoon, or good morning to some of you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know it's going to be a slow morning for some of us. I just want to thank everybody for joining us last night. I think it was a very successful evening. It was wonderful seeing you all there. I know we really enjoyed putting it together. And I think that it really kind of set the stage for the future and a lot of the stuff that we'll be talking about in the next day or two, but also for the next 100 years, as we kind of reiterated throughout the evening. So welcome this morning. I know it's an early morning for many of you. It's an early morning for me, even though it's afternoon already. But I think this should be a very interesting session. I've seen Laura Fredricks speak a number of times, and I always find her inspiring. And her approach to communication and persuasion and just general communication is really refreshing. And she knows how to help people deal with those questions that are oftentimes the hardest. And I'm not just talking about, asking for money. I'm also talking about engaging people and getting them to do the things that we want them to do. And she'll probably say to me, well, that's probably the wrong way of looking at it anyway. But I'm going to let her kind of approach it. And I'm sure this is like the third or fourth time that I've heard her speak, and I think I'm probably going to listen to her again. And I'm sure you will. And there will be breakout sessions. She's going to approach some top line questions, but there'll be opportunities for perhaps you to explore some of your own questions or things that you're particularly struggling with in your leadership capacity. So Laura, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Karen. Just honored to be here. I love working with groups when it's an anniversary year. It's so exciting. There's so much energy. And so I promise I'm going to deliver that same high energy for you. So quick question, Karen, do we have until 1 or 1:30, just so that I can gauge
Josh,
this?
we have till 1:30 or 1
Good.
o'clock.
I think it was 1:30, but I saw 1 on your announcement.
Correct, Josh?
1:30, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. So what I have is some light PowerPoints for you. And as Karen said, we're going to do a breakout session because that's where we really make all this information come to life. And remember, whatever we do here is going to help you personally and professionally. If anything has taught us over the last year with so many challenges that we've had to deal with, making things simple and easy, short, and to the point, with your tone being as empathetic and as sincere, wins the day. So I'm going to share my screen, and I am, let's see, here we go. Hold on. Where is my PowerPoint? Hold on 1 second, and I shall get this for you. Show all windows. We've got a lot going on Laura's. There she is. All right. As Karen would say, it's been a busy morning. I don't want that many windows open, and you don't want that many windows open. Okay, so let's get to the top. Let's frame it what we want to accomplish today, okay? So what we want to find out is how is the best way to engage people during your centennial year? The second is, and I've learned a lot over this past 7 months, and I'm really happy to share this with you, and how can external events, which we know are on everybody's mind, how can we navigate that conversation so that people are focused when you want them to be focused? Because that's been a particularly difficult challenge for this year. Okay, how to select working with the right people in the right order to engage, to maximize your success, and then learn how to weave in the conversations of benefits. Like, important to us is becoming a member, upgrading that membership, in an easy way, talking about endowment opportunities, maybe plan giving opportunities, and how to leverage all that for a special anniversary gift for you this year. So what I want you to do is think about asking in a different way than you might have thought about prior to this. Okay. It's really, really about organization, structure, and focus. This is for you. This is for the volunteers. This is for the leadership you work with. If you figure out what this is, and I'll show you what I mean by organization, structure, and focus, it's going to make our jobs a lot easier. Because out of all the uncertainty, chaos, anxiety, stress that we've had over the last 7 months globally, people crave structure. And if we can put structure into any ask you may do, whether that is to talk to people, period, talk to board members, period, conversations about money, fine, but let's have some structure to it and you'll get much, much better results. Okay. Then I'm going to share with you, which I love, 5-step process to get exactly what you want. And I'm telling you, people, if you're a board member or you work with board members, they love this because there's steps. And when everyone has a pattern, it becomes doable. When it's just a conversation of, here's 10 people, we'd like you to do this, it goes nowhere. And those are all rules. And I need you to throw them away. Okay. This will help you. All right. We're going to do a breakout session that has a piece of the 5-step process. And I want this as interactive as possible. So Karen and Josh, if you see something in the chat room, please, this is your session. I know we have a large group, but I want to make this as applicable to you in real time. Okay. And questions get us there. All right. So let's break this down. First of all, what do we want from engagement? What we really want to do is kind of approach it in a different way. Okay. And I've been guilty of doing this. We have a tendency to say, okay, these are people who potentially could make us a planned gift. And we have a tendency to talk to them in the same way. Okay. Or these are people who are our members and we want to explore, especially now at the end of the year, to ask them to increase that level of membership. But when you have that mindset, what we take away is how does each person want to be communicated with and what words are going to resonate with that person, not that group of people. Okay. And it's very easy because we're very busy. I know, I think like working from home, we were supposed to have so much more free time, but actually, I think it creates more because we have a tendency in our mind to work longer and harder, and there are no boundaries. And so the goal is to really have individualized, and I'm going to stress that word, individualized engagement strategies for each person. Okay. Is it work? Yes. Does it pay off? You bet it does. Okay. So the first step, and it might sound basic, but it is a very fundamental step, is I've learned, and I'm sharing you everything that I've learned, is we can't take for granted how people want to be communicated with. Do they want it this way? Do they want it on the phone? Do they want it just email? Do they want it paper? And people can change. Okay. So, and people are exhausted. So before you begin doing an assumption that we've always talked on the phone, they're going to want to talk on the phone, just make it clear to say, I've got something important to share. How best would you like us to communicate? It's a simple question, but it's very, very important because I know me, I'm doing this a lot. So that at the end of the day, if someone really wants my full attention, then this is me. I just prefer the phone. All right. Because when you think about it, these Zoom meetings are great and it's really kept us like glue together. But normally, when you'd walk into a meeting, there'd be other things to look at, other distractions. But now with Zoom, it is full on 100%, and people get tired. And the people you want to get to engage, we don't want them tired. So ask them what's the best way that you would like to be communicated with. Also, the best days and the best times, because that changes too, right? When you think about it, a lot of people have children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews that are learning at home. And if they have college students, some of them are coming back during the Thanksgiving holiday and staying here until January because they need to stay here quarantine. The colleges don't want them back. So you may have been doing a lot of Zoom calls, but if you want to reach them after November, they may not want to do this because they have some people at home. Okay. And after you do that, get ready and prepared for good questions that you'd like to ask them. Because the rule of any engagement is you talk 25, they talk 75. We have a tendency to have it the other way, thinking that if we could persuade people, if we could explain a lot, we'll win them over. When in fact, it's the opposite. So I had some good questions for you that I thought might be applicable. So, with some of them are here, and I've used these before, and I've tailored them for you. So, have we done a good job communicating with you the priorities, especially in this anniversary year? And remember, a lot of people don't have a big bandwidth to focus on you, but what we want them to focus on is your priorities. And I'm hearing this word a lot. So, some of the homework I have for you is, do you know your 3 top priorities, and is everybody saying it, right? These are the 3 things that are important to us now. These are the 3 things we're focusing on. The more people say it with repetition, the better off you are, okay, for clarity and simplicity. Second question is, 100-year celebrations come but once in a lifetime. Can we talk to you about the opportunities for you to be part of this landmark occasion? Now, look how much energy is coming out of just that selection of words in that question. And with all these questions, the biggest part is to ask it, drop back, and listen. And it's hard. It's hard for me because we want to comment on what they're saying, further guide the discussion, but just sit back and take as much as you can. All right. The next question is, have you ever given a special gift to another organization during celebration of their anniversary year? I want to know this because to some it could be brand new. To many it's not. And if to many it's not, then you can fall right in sync saying, wow, then you know the importance of anniversary years. Let's talk about what you'd like to do with us and when we can make that happen. All right. Again, if you look at these 3 questions alone, there could be a lot of assumptions that you know it, but just getting on the same page, setting yourself up success will alleviate a lot of confusion, a lot of what I call a backpedaling in a conversation. Oh, well, yes, it is our anniversary year, and on and on. So these 3 I think would be really good for you. And I've got some more. Let's talk about you've got 2 very strong endowment funds. So the question you can ask is, we have 2 very special endowment funds. And I just a side note here, I found that most people get very confused and tripped up on terminology, and they get tripped up on endowment. Okay, because to some that's like in a lockbox and you never ever ever use it. To some it's like, oh, it's an additional fund and you can draw on it whenever you want. Now everyone has different bylaws about it, but I've found that more people will understand what an endowment is if you simply call it a stability fund. What does it do? It makes us stable long into the future. So when I talk to donors about endowment funds, I call them our stability funds. What do you know about them? Can I share with you how they've made an impact with each fund? Get talking to them nice and easy. These are gentle, easy, open-ended questions. The next one, many people right now are looking over their estate plans and deciding to include charity and charities that mean the most to their family. Have you considered putting ESU part of your plans? Okay, just there we go. I mean, I know broaching the subject about estate planning can be very difficult. It can be seen cumbersome. It can seem intrusive. It can be disrespectful. Well, I've heard all the words before, but it's worth it to explore. And I've seen, and you have seen more people over the last 7 months really, really sit down and reflect, what groups matter the most to me? Okay. What do I want to be remembered for? Where do I want to put my resources and show my children what else they should do as well? Okay. A lot of this self-reflection is going on, which opens it up to have the discussion about plan gifts and stability funds. And last but not least, my favorite question of all time, when you get comfortable and you know the person, or we know the person, they've been a member, you want to upgrade them, they've been to your events, whatever it is, especially now, we have to clarify this. Where are we on your philanthropic priorities? There's lots of assumptions that can go on here. They've been a member, they know us, they've come to an event, and all that leads to, of course, they're going to continue to give. But again, I just want to put you in the best position because I've seen lots of people change charitable directions. Just look at foundations alone. If you've been watching the Chronicle of Philanthropy, or you get the e-newsletter Philanthropy Today, you can see how major foundations are giving a lot of money to social injustice causes right now. So you may think we have been a recipient of their grants. We have to check where we are in their philanthropic priorities, and that is for individuals as well. Okay, so those are some of the questions I have. Those are some of the pieces about engagement. Karen and Josh, I want to stop there and just see if anyone has any questions or needs to clarify anything. I just want to make sure that we have this piece down, or things that they'd like to add that have helped them when they're engaging their members, their donors, or their potential donors, potential members.
Doesn't seem like anything in the chat.
We have a lot of people, they're shy. We'll warm up. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. Second piece we want to talk about is structure. Remember, we started out with organization, structure, focus. Structure, right? This is important, and I've seen this kind of drift off in the past couple of months because we've had a lot to do. You know, pivot to virtual events, check in with our board, check in with our donors, check in with our staff. We've had a lot put on us. Okay. Something we have to come back to is making sure you're working with the best people in priority order. Now, what do I mean by that? So we have a little homework for you. Just take time to either create or revisit a chart of maybe your 10 to top 15 people and what you want to do with them by the end of the year. Do you want to upgrade a membership? Do you want to introduce or continue a conversation you might have been having about your endowed gift, a prospective endowed gift? Do you want to secure a new board member? I think we have a tendency to say, oh, I've got to do this today. I've got to call that person on, but it gets too loose. And unless you see in front of you who you need to work with this week or this day, we're not putting our best foot forward. In other words, priority lists are people who can do what you want them to do in the shortest period of time. Okay. And so I just want to show you something that I've worked with for years. We're talking years that has helped me. All right. It's just a chart. You know, you have somebody's name, research. It's not their whole bio or prospect research chart. It's something to jar your memory. Oh, that's this person. Okay. And in this, what steps do you need to do? Cultivation / engagement. What do we need to do? And I've showed you how to do that. Okay. People always laugh. We put this big, awful word called ask in red. What do you want to ask them for? And when do you want to ask them? Okay. What follow-up are you going to do? And what stewardship will you do? But this keeps my eye on this column because we have a tendency to work with kind of the easy people, the people who return our calls, the people who like us, the people who are connected to our boards, and that's great. But there may be some people down here that have just the ability to do what we want also. But if you look at the chart, we haven't done much with them. So structure is about creating this or anything else that works for you so that your eyes are on the top people to be able to do something in the shortest period of time. Okay. This has really, really, really helped me. Something so simple can have such transformational results. So Josh, does anybody have any comments about there's anyone done something like this in the databases you work for? I like databases. They're fine. They're great. But the problem is you go in, you pull up one person's record, and then you pull up the next. But what do your eyes see about the people you need to be working with at a glance? And that's why I like this chart.
Yeah, it looks like, well, so Susan Sinclair comments from the National Branch says that she likes the chart and she wants to get a copy of it.
Yours. It seems so primitive now that we have so much technology our ways. Serious, right? But it can be so simple. And Josh, I'll make this PowerPoint available to everybody here. Don't worry about it. You don't have to
Lunch is
take
up.
You don't have to take copious notes on. This is for you to use, okay? Josh, anything else?
No, that looks like everything.
Quiet group here. I don't know. We're just getting here. Okay. We're going to get into the ask. We're going to get the 5 steps to the ask. And then we're going to do a breakout session. That's going to wake everybody up. So let's talk about the ask today, right? And I'm not giving you things that I've done 3 years ago, 2 years ago. It's today. And the rules have changed since March 17th worldwide. And I'm going to tell you a couple things that have changed. Number one, people are making decisions right away. They're making them on the spot. I mean, back in the day, we would do the ask and take us a long time to close, or people would kind of have a lot of things to consider. But since March 17th, I can share with you, they're deciding on the spot. Okay. So we have to be ready. You have to be prepared. And I'm going to show you those steps. Okay. The second is I am most certain that the people you want to ask, particularly now for end of year gifts or to do something between this date and the end of the year, I'm most certain they've done something with you or for you prior to this date. Okay. Maybe you had emergency funds. Maybe you had a call to action. Maybe you wanted more volunteers on and on. I don't want you to hesitate to ask them now over and above something they might have done for you prior to this date. Okay. People are used to it. It's not ingracious. It's how we do it. But I want you, if that's the person you want to do something additional, we have to do it. And there's something that I've learned over the past couple months, and it's really, really, really helped me because I've seen it. And that is in the most uncertain times that we have all experienced across the world, I have seen that giving gives a person control. The act of giving gives a person control. Remember when this whole virus broke out and all we saw on the news was first responders, nurses, doctors, food lines, agony on. What did we see? We saw this outpouring of money at a time when people don't give. I mean, this was March, April, and May, where traditionally people, they have every reason not to do it. Why? It's United States, it's income tax time, and then we roll into events or something like that. But, if you've kept your eyes on this, Fidelity's Donor Advised Fund, which is the nation's #1 charity, meaning it holds the most charitable assets, Fidelity's Donor Advised Funds, people made gifts to 8,000 charities worldwide, totaling $3.2 billion from March until July. Look at staggering. Why did they do it? Why feel helpless when I can give and I've done something good, right? I don't want this all to go to waste to say I sat back and did nothing. Giving gives people control. Good one. Okay, so let's talk about what the ask can do for you. It's much bigger than what I've just explained. I want to expand your horizons about the power of the ask. First of all, it empowers you. It enhances your career. It attracts like-minded people, all 31 of us here today and beyond, and your network and your colleagues. It has personal momentum and energy. I cannot tell you how many times I work with people, we get it right to the point and they don't ask and they feel lousy, okay? They tank. It boosts your self-worth and invites powerful and positive outcomes. My favorite, it stops the second guessing. How many times we say, well, okay, it's Thursday. It's, Friday's almost here. Why don't I wait for Tuesday? That's a little bit before the national elections. People, you are talking and talking, and it gets so crowded up here, right? It stops your second guessing because it's time to ask. It turns unexpected things into leveraged opportunities. Actually, asking gives you a lot of leverage because you're exploring what that person wants to do with you. It makes tough issues doable, and it enhances your status amongst your peers. All of that just because you asked. It's tremendous. It is a life-fulfilling prophecy. It's your personal roadmap to get exactly what you want. Okay? So let's get back to the organization structure. Why do I say organize? Because you have to organize to optimize your opportunities. The structure secures your stability. Remember we talked about stability funds? And focus, my new mantra, where focus goes, success grows. Push away all the noise and just get laser focused on each person in your order that you want someone to do something. Okay, that's the organization, that's the structure, that's the focus to this. All right.
And on that note, real quick,
Yep.
Laura, we have a comment from Susan Sinclair who says, seems to me that the first thing is making certain that asking for a gift is important, that the goals are clear, that they know their gift is actually going for what they want. That point needs absolute clarity, and it helps the asker, us, to be enthusiastic.
It does. And thank you for that comment. That is all. And I'm going to go, don't mean to ruin your eyes, but I'm going to go back to this for a minute. See this chart right here? This is where that gets solidified. Okay. In your conversations of how important is this? Do you know about the opportunity? Is this the one that you're most interested? You get that done here so that when you ask, you're just gliding right into it. Too many people load those conversations up here. That's not the place to do it. The place to do it is here so that you're in sync, that you know this is what the person wants to do. This has the most interest to them. This is important to them and their families. This is their legacy. Please, the big point is that is done here. So at the moment of the ask, and I'm going to show you, you just glide right into it. Okay? Thank you. That was a really good comment. Yes, you have to be in sync about this, right? But that's the fun part. And if you thought that's what the person wanted and they said, no, I really just want to do this, then you get back in sync. Okay? That will prevent you from asking what you thought was important to the person and important to your cause, because you get tripped up in the ask if someone says, no, I really don't think that. I want to do this. And then we kind of have to go back to the beginning. Okay. Awesome. Josh, anything else? We're going to go over this again.
No, that's it. Yes.
That's it. Awesome. Okay. We're going to do two things. I'm going to show you two things, and then we're going to do a breakout, which I think will be fun. Okay. So there is the ask when you have a little bit of time, and there's the ask when you have more time. Okay. So no matter when you're even thinking or engaging or cultivating people that you want to do something for you, these three questions go off in people's minds and you have to be ready for them. Okay. So if you want someone to be a board member, if you want a member to make an increased gift, if you want someone to really think long and hard about doing this endowed fund gift, these three things are going to go off in their head. Why me, my company, my foundation, fill in the blank. Why me? Why now? What will it do? So from the get-go, before you even pick up the phone or schedule this, be ready to answer these, because these are going off on people's heads. Okay. And there's like, why me? Out of all the people you could choose, why did you call me? Why is what they're saying to you is, why is it important that I do what you want me to do? And you have to have that answer. It's not easy, but you can say, you know, you've been a great supporter, a cheerleader, an advocate. You've helped us over the years. You've drafted some language for us, whatever it is that tells that person you're focused on me. You're not making 10 of these calls and I'm number 8. Right? That's what's turning off people right now. They feel like they're in this big pool of people and they're not distinct. All right? You have to answer the why me. And you can't say, well, you know, prospect research shows you're the person I should call today. I know you wouldn't do that, but a little humor is good. Why me? Okay. The second is why now? Now, this used to be a difficult one to answer. Prior to March, here we go. What difference does it make if I give ESU $5,000 October 30th, December 30th, March 30th. I'm good for it, right? What difference does it make? Now, all the external forces has made the case for us. We have an urgent need to raise this amount of money because, and everybody understands that urgent need right now. It's urgent, not emergent. It's not an emergency, but there's an urgent need to do it. And with this, all I say is numbers and dates rule the day. If you need to raise X amount of money because you had a gap of what you couldn't raise over the past 7 months, tell them, we have a gap of, I'm going to make it up, $250,000 because these events went virtual. We're looking to raise this by December 30th. Can we talk to you? Simple as that. That's a lot different than saying we have an urgent need to raise more money that was, as we all know, not possible to do in this year, right? It's different. Numbers and dates, okay? And then what will it do? Now, this can be easy for us because we know and love this organization. There's a lot of things to explain. There's a lot of progress to explain. But what happens here is we over talk it, okay? And once you over talk it, the person will forget what you want them to do. So make sure you and the people that you work with are well scripted. What will it do with your prospective gift? It will do X. That's it. Okay. Remember, we got to get back to the 25-75. You talk 25, they talk 75. So this is when you have a little time. And trust me, I've been testing this a lot lately. And these are the questions that go off in people's minds. Okay.
And
Josh, do we have any?
Laura,
Yes.
we do.
Yay.
Another question. There are two types of need: money or services.
And it's the same ask. It's the same ask. If you need extra supplies, if you need people to help you deliver services, if you need money to make those two things happen, it's the same ask. So what I would say to you is, if that's your priority, that's your priority. Our need is to have services, but you have to define that. When you say that word, I don't know what you mean. I've got to see it. So when you say services, what exactly do you mean?
Susan, if you want to turn your mic on.
Yeah,
do that
please.
directly.
It's only 32 of us.
Okay. Well, I asked that question because it seems to me that service, you're exactly right, it needs to be defined. Sometimes you're asking the person to serve on your local board, you're asking the person to serve on your national board, you're asking all that kind of thing. And it seems to me there's some differentiation there, but you're right, both types of gifts need to be specific.
Well, no, thank you for doing that. And stay with me here. Let's work through
Okay.
this. If you want someone to serve, I'm going to say on your local board, let's stick with that, okay?
Yeah.
What's the first thing going to say? Why are you reaching out to me? Right? What they're saying is, why do you want me on this board?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Second is, why do you want it now? I'm sure you have other people and I'm really busy. And you can say, with your skill set, this is exactly what we need to enhance this board.
Exactly.
Right? And then the third, what will it do? Having you on this board will raise the stature for people to say, wow, at a time when people don't increase board members, we will look so solid. It's the same questions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to that same person and saying, we want you to give to this local group, the same things are going to come up. So you just have to be prepared for whatever you want someone to do, they're going to think this, and you have to work through it.
So the key is specificity. And also you have to have done your homework ahead of time so that you know what this person will respond to and what their skill set is.
Yes. Well, the other thing is, Yes, but don't let over preparation prevent you from moving forward, right? And we can do that. I should wait until we have more and on. You should know the person, right? Because people give to people they know, like, and trust. So looking at you, I can't imagine you would just turn to someone and say, you'd be great on our local board. You'd know something about them. You'd know something about their interest. You'd weave that interest into the conversation, maybe asks or conversation. And you would say that. And then the person would say, wow, you thought about me to do this, as opposed to, we have a vacancy on this local board, right? The homework you describe is exactly what you would do and what you would say. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Made you smile. But it's a good example to show you that we have a tendency to think that asking for money has its own set of rules, and it really, really doesn't. Trust me, it doesn't. An ask is an ask. Asking to be a board member locally, as you described, could sound like a fortune to somebody, as much as you would ask them for $250. It's the same sensibility, same things go off in their minds. Okay? All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Because I want to make sure you feel comfortable with this. Remember, it's just preparation. Let me segue into this for a second. Do you know the number one reason why people don't ask? Anybody, unmute yourself, go for it. Why don't people ask?
They're scared of getting a no.
Yeah,
Okay.
fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. Go ahead. Keep going. Why else?
Probably in fear of imposing on someone.
Right? Imposing. I hear that too. Let me tell you the number one reason why people don't ask. And honestly, it's not fear and it's not hearing no. Since you were very, very young, what was the first word we heard growing up? Was no. We've lived with it, right? We've all had rejection. We live with it. It's okay. The number one reason why people don't ask is this, which is why I created it. They're afraid they won't be able to answer whatever the person says. It's the response back that they feel like they'll be unprepared. And they've put themselves out there. They've put the organization out there. They put their reputations out there. Someone's going to say something to them, and they're not going to know what to say. And that's what pulls people back. That's what tells people, I got to spend more time. I need more research. I have to have every answer. I have to know every single fact and word from ESU, or else I'm never going out there. It took me a while to discover this. But when I asked people, they were just like, I don't want to get stuck. This is what we hear. I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to be put on the spot. Not the person being asked. I don't want to be put on the spot. And what they were saying to me is, I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing. And that is the number one reason why people don't ask. Okay? So what I created for you is a way to get over this. Okay? Now, this is a 5-step process to get you exactly what you want, whether it's that person to be on your local board, whether it's a staff member to do more work, a board member to make some thank you calls, whatever it is, someone to set up a meeting so you can say hello, whatever it is, these will get you there. Okay, you ready? Everybody, big breath now. Is a good part. Is a good part. And look at it. It has structure. Now here's some rules. We have to do them, but in order. Okay, we can't say, okay, I got this one. Yeah, 3 looks good. Let's go to 3. You got to do them in order. Okay. All right. So, Josh, what I want is I want someone to tell me something they need to do between now and the end of the year. Just give me an example. Just one thing you need to do. It can be ask for the board member, it can be ask for money, it can be ask my staff to do whatever it is. It can be any ask, but I want to work through it so you see how this works rather than me just showing you the steps.
All right, feel free to put the response either in the chat, or if you want to be brave, turn your mic
Be
off.
brave. It's a
I have-
Thursday.
I have a thought.
Good.
Have our branch be more noticed or noted in our community.
Okay. So you want more visibility,
More
right?
visibility.
You want more people to know about you. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Correct.
right. And what is your first name?
I'm Barbara Hughes
Barbara,
from
okay.
Central Florida.
Oh, good. Whereabouts in Florida are you?
Winter Park, Central
No, it
Florida.
will. No, it will. Okay. So let's go with this. You heard what she had to say, right? Let's change this around. So we want visibility. And why? Because the more visible we are, the easier it is for our jobs to engage people, right? There's a lot of steps we won't have to go through, and then prospectively raise some money for your branch there in Winter Park, right? That's the goal. So let's go through this again. What exactly do you want with numbers and dates? Can you put that request with numbers and dates, even if you have to make it up? What would you change about what you just shared with us? What could you say?
Maybe to share how many members we presently have.
Okay.
Some of the programs that we have throughout the year and the dates for those programs. Does that work?
We're getting close. I'm working with you. I wouldn't let you out there to dry. How about this? Let's say, how many members do you have?
We have 203.
Okay. How many members do you want?
Let's say 300.
Perfect. See where we're going here? So you can say, presently we have 203 members. Our goal is to have 300 by December 30th of this year. Right?
Mhm.
Now I can see it. Because if you just say members, I could have thought 1,000 or I could have thought 25. The step here is to eliminate the guess game. Okay? Crystal clear what you want, right?
Correct.
There you go. And with a date. Because again, we're going to go back to this. What difference does it make if you hit your membership goal by December 30th or June 30th, 2021? Well, it makes a big difference. We want our branch to be strong. The more members that know about us, the stronger this organization is, and the more that we can provide these services. Right? So here we go. You want 300 members by December 30th. How's that? Good?
Okay.
Works for you? Okay, now here's the fun part. All right, that's done. Good. Number 2, write. You see the old-fashioned way, write 15 things you think someone's going to say. So let's say you want to, and we want you to be our newest member. Okay, so that'll be your ask, right? We have the goal, how many you want. We want them by December. We would invite you to be our newest member. Okay, here we go. What will that person say to your request?
Well, they're going to either say yes, they're going to say, maybe. No, I have no time. I'm not interested.
All right. Okay, keep going. We got 12 more to go. What
Okay.
else? 15. There's a reason there's 15. What else will they say?
Okay. Tell me more about your organization.
You're smoking here, girl. Keep going.
Okay. Oh, somebody else can jump in here and help me out too.
Yeah, she's doing great. Jump in. What have you heard? I mean, this is kind of easy because you've heard these things before, right? What else?
I'm
We've got-
overcommitted elsewhere.
I give elsewhere. Was that it?
I'm overcommitted.
I'm overcommitted. Good. All right. We got 10 more. What else?
What do I get?
What do I get?
What do I get for my membership?
Perfect. What else?
They'll ask, what does the ESU exactly do?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Good. Keep going.
Are
You
there
got
different
7 here.
levels of membership?
What's the levels? Great.
How much does it cost?
How much does it cost? Right.
How often do you meet?
How often do you meet? Good. Got 5 more.
I'm not joining anything during the pandemic.
Perfect. Keep going.
Will I have to do anything?
Oh, that's a big one. Okay, we got 3 more.
What's your next event?
What's your next event? Okay, 2 more.
Who are some of your members already?
Yeah, nice one. Very good. Okay, last one.
Any reciprocities?
Reciprocity is good. And you've got 3 as a bonus. How about this? Why are you asking me? Why are you asking me now on this date? And if I join, what will it do? Now you have 18, okay? Good. I've got your mind thinking this way. That's step number 1. Step number 2 then is, what will you say to each one? Okay? What are the levels of membership? You spell it out. How about this? Why do you need extra members? You answer that. I am overcommitted. How will you respond to that? This is a step that everybody skips. We do it a little bit in our head in anticipation what the person will say. But once you do this, and once you have that list, you just keep adding to it, okay? This is going to prevent you from stop asking. Because remember, I said the number 1 reason why people don't ask is they don't want to look like they're not prepared or they don't know how to answer it. So this sets your mind straight that you are ready, okay? And then you go into number 3. I have seen more people do things because the ask was just filled with energy and conviction. And as someone said earlier, convey the importance. I've seen more people do this just for that fact alone. So when it's your ask day, for whatever it is, just don't underplay how you look, what's your focus. If you're dressed, you probably don't recognize this, but I am standing and I stand for all of these because my voice goes up, my energy's high, I'm laser focused on you, and it shows. Okay, I showed up for you today. You have to do the same with any ask you make as well. I'm not trying to turn you into people that you're not. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but each person has a way, their own way of really showing somebody that I'm present. More things are getting to yes because just for the sheer reason the person was present. Okay. Number 4, we're getting there. Hang in with me. Number 4, reiterate what you think you heard. Okay. Of the 18 responses we had, and they were awesome, everybody. The one I didn't hear, if I did, pardon me, I didn't catch it, but the one that's most likely you will hear is, gee, I have to think about it. Right? It's the most common. Now, when you hear that, I want your body and language and eyes to show that you are 75% to yes. What happens is you don't hear yes, your whole demeanor goes down, and you feel like that statement was a no, when all they said was one simple sentence: I have to think about it. That's it. Okay? It's the most common response to any ask. Good. So when you hear that, or when you've heard that, what do you say next? Anybody?
What
can
other
I send you-
questions do you have?
Questions? Okay, go ahead.
What can I send you that would help fill out information about us?
Good. Additional materials. What else?
May I follow up in a week?
Follow up in a week. Great.
May I give you my card that has my number and that sort of information on it?
Okay. Your contact, sure. Anybody else? Okay. All of those are great. There's no right and wrong here. All of those great. But this is what I've learned. Think about what they said. Drilling down here. I have to think about it. Our only job right here is to find out what the it is. We are going off an assumption land. They need more information. They need more time. They can't do it. People have to help them decide. You're going to do a lot of assumptions when all they said was think about it. So I want to get to what is the it. And this is because once you do, you can work it out right there. They will tell you, they'll say, you know what? It's only October. I really don't want to think of these things until next January. Now we know. What is it? The it is the timing, right? And then you could say, perfect. Can I call you January 10th? Okay, taken care of right there. If they say, I kind of know about this, but I don't, you could say, oh, did I hear you say you need more information? Right? You confirm it right there. And it's just, it'll get you so much further rather than you leave, you circle back, and the ball is left in their court because they're thinking about something that you could have helped them with right here. This is a game changer, really. One simple question. To the extent you feel comfortable, can you share with me what you're thinking about? And here's that I'm here to help you. And guess what? It gets resolved right at the ask. This is brand new. You don't have to leave and come back. That's a lot of work for you. Get it out. What are you thinking about? And the part I like about this and what makes this so sincere is, and which I know, you're here to help them, right? You wouldn't ask them just throw it out and walk away. You want to help them. I'm here to help. And you know what? They tell you the exact thing that they're thinking about. And then the next one is you just say, okay, you need some information. Got it. Anything in particular? What more or what area would you like to learn about? I'll get that to you. How do you want it? Attachment email? Do you want it in the mail? Can I explain more now? And you see where you're going? You're getting right to it immediately. It'll save you so much time and effort and energy. And then you just plan when you can get back to them. So these are the 5 steps that'll get you exactly what you want. Really, really, really. They're so helpful. They're so good. They work. Okay? Any questions about this before we go into our breakout rooms? Do you think this can help you?
This was a good model for us. Thank you. I appreciate you walking us through that, and because it is a good model and some examples of what you're actually getting at with these 5 steps. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So this is what we're going to do. Josh is going to put you into breakout rooms, and we're going to do this again, right? In your breakout circle, pick one person, as we did before, thank you so much, of something that you need to do by the end of the year. It can be anything, okay? I've listed a couple for you, but anything, right? Work as a group to write down those 15 things you think that person's going to say to that ask, all right? So let's say someone in your group says, yeah, I do want to ask this person to increase their membership. Describe the person. She or he is here, they live there, they do whatever. Okay, good. And you'll know by the end of the year. So as a group, work out those 15 things just like we did before. But as most important here is what will you say to each of them? Okay. And then we're going to come back and have one person in your group kind of report out the highlights, things that surprised you, things you felt better about getting over, things that you really could address now and you felt better. I think it's good if we just kind of practice a little bit with that and then come back and hear from each other. Okay. Does that sound good? Okay, Josh, assign away. And I'll leave this up for you if you need to see it.
Can we still speak, or is it still?
You can speak and everyone will hear you. Jean-Paul.
It was cut off. I wasn't too sure. So I don't know whether we have to look at a central strategy somewhere, because if you look at all people I knew in the past and you look at people running these branches, what is the age group? Right? So, and frankly, some of our members, I mean, a lot of our members, they used to come to function with their wheelers. We had to help them and all that. And it's getting worse years on years. So we have to find a way. How do we attract people to come?
Yeah.
You know, the word education, which came in about 10 years ago, you know, teachers are good doers, but, you know, as it was said earlier on, once we give them a scholarship or something, they go away and that's it. You know, they don't, we have terrible time to keep teachers. We keep some of them, retired teachers who will help with the Shakespeare competition, but that's about it. So I don't know.
I was just in a breakout session with the Kentucky group, and they're a model for this, where their average board member is under 40. So we could learn something from their strategy, that's for sure.
Okay.
I'm Kate Nitzkin from the Kentucky branch. One of the things that helps our program is that we have a very strong T-Lab program where we send our both university scholars and teachers. This year we'll be sending 6 students and teachers to go study abroad. And those people come back and it's part of their service because of the experience they have through the English Speaking Union. So I just want to say again, those scholarships are paramount. If you're raising funds for something, I highly recommend you send at least a teacher and even possibly a university student, because what you might not understand is there are people there ranging from college age up through my age, because I went not that long ago. And I just am going to tell you, those scholarships are life-changing. I make sure that when I ask someone on the board of directors that I'm getting a wide variety of age groups and a wide variety of interests. We are very program-based. In other words, we don't do so many speakers programs because that's not as interesting to younger memberships. Ours like doing a pub crawl. Ours like doing, a bourbon tasting because it's Kentucky. Ours like doing things like being active. That's what they like doing here. And we did a cooking competition. I was talking to Dave Grisham how he should be doing that down in New Orleans, because it's an amazing program when you find things that young people care about. They are foodies. They love food. You just have to think about them when you think about getting young people involved.
Okay, we need to move on because we have another session at 2 o'clock. It seems to me like these are pretty robust discussions. Is that
Big
true, Laura?
ones. Very big. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good.
I don't know if we're going to be able to boil everything down at this moment, but I think we've planted a lot of very positive seeds, and maybe we can discuss having Laura come back over the next few months and continue this dialogue, because I think everybody has found it very productive, and I'm sure she'd be more than happy to come back. Is there anything, Laura, you want to actually, say to everything?
No, it's just that I appreciate your time, and don't worry. I mean, if you have some struggles about getting members or youth or how to do it or when to do it, tackle them little by little. But I'm going to tell you that if you really just apply the steps, whether you want to find out the best time for your meetings or find the best people or don't know where to go, whenever these bigger, larger than life questions just come, if you just put some structure, you'll really get much, much further. And it's helped me, and I'm hoping that'll help you.
Anyway, thank you again, Laura. I think
Thank
structure and specifics. I think those are the two big deals. Structure
Indeed.
and specifics.
Yep.
Seem to be what we're focusing in on, and I thank you very much.
Thank you
And
too.
We'll be back. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Best of luck to everybody. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's interesting what she said in Tennessee.
Yeah, but I remember her. She's.
Pub crawls and.
Oh yeah, that's it. Well, that's it.